Alright, so now I'll show you how to do an assembly real fast. So let's come up here to the Applications button and just do ISO assembly. And then we want to go to our parts library here. And then you want to navigate to wherever you put your parts. In this case, I just have them on the desktop. And this is the most important thing about creating an assembly. Number one, the parts that an assembly is created up of individual parts. I saw a couple of instances where people actually made multiple parts within one part pile, or one part file rather. So what's really important is every single piece of individual parts is literally a separate file. So for instance, the nail that you use to model something or whatever, or the nut and the bolt, all that kind of stuff, these are all individual little tiny part files that you will need to pull in. Okay, with that aside, this is the most important actually, thing that I'm about to say, is the first part that you pull in is going to be considered the ground. This is the one part you can't move around or anything. So in this case, we want to start off with our base plate. So here's my base plate, and I'm just going to go ahead and drop that in. So now the assembly knows exactly what's ground, and this is ground. So if you've messed this up and you like flipped it over, and so instead of drawing on the y x-axis, and you did something funky with it, then that's going to kind of mess up your assembly. It's still going to be okay, but it's not with convention. Okay, so now we'll go ahead and just pull in the next part, the end support, and you'll notice that it's green right here. So let's come over here, and you first want to highlight the part that you want to place, and go ahead and insert this thing here. And so that's just simply aligning aligning the holes. And this is some of the most frustrating thing really, because it's really difficult to put in the parts. So you really want to take your time and make sure you're highlighting over the right plane. So this is the bottom of the end support here. I know it's kind of hard to see, and I want this to be placed up on top of this right here. So I'll just highlight it, click it, and then now when I come over here, highlight this part, and just take your time, highlight that. Now when it goes gray like this, it means it's fully constrained. So that's a good thing, or it's at least, yeah. So what I did is just Control T to get us to the top to see if there were anything, if there's anything kind of funky with it. And what I noticed right off the bat is I misplaced this hole right here. But that's okay, we can fix that, no problem. Let me go ahead and insert the other parts just for repetition, and I'll go back and I'll actually show you how to fix that kind of stuff. So now we pull in the other end support, and this time I'm going to put this right here. I'm going to mate the faces first. It's probably a good idea to start off with, if you have holes or whatever, to start off with that. But it's okay, just for fun. We'll do this kind of thing. So let me go ahead and get this. Alright, so what happened was, so now we wound up with a situation where I made it, I did kind of something stupid here, and now I need to flip it, obviously. So what we can do is we can just come over this part, and this is going to happen all the time. I'm going to go ahead and delete these relationships, really everything. Okay, and now we'll come up to, there's two things, axial line and then mating. These are like the two things I always use. I actually don't think I've ever used any of these other parts, these other things. I've always just used axial line and then mate or planar line. So what I'll go ahead and do is I'll use mate to mate these surfaces right here, so I can go ahead and get this thing flipped. Alright, so that wound up pretty interesting there. So go ahead and this. So the problem with mating is occasionally it'll lock the it'll lock the rotation. So this happens constantly. Okay. Now let's see if we can uh, take this and go ahead and hit flip. Okay. So what I did there was, this is something you're going to always see, is that it, did you see how it wasn't rotating in the right position, so I went ahead and select flip. So I'll go ahead and take this, use planar align, and then now we need to go ahead and suppress relationships. So just by me doing this right here, you're going to see a lot of different techniques I'm going to use. So I go back and delete the relationship or whatever, and yeah, this is really super common. Okay, so it's not in the right area here. So I'm going to take this, highlight over there. It needs to be flipped, right? So we just come over here and said flip side. Okay, very good. So now we'll come over here, planar align, right here, right there, and again, this thing needs to be flipped. Very good. So escape out of all that. We might get an error thing right here because mate usually doesn't allow. Okay, never mind. Worked out. So I used axial line to line everything up, and now it's the same situation where I have, this whole, isn't lined up at all. So that's going to be, the main thing, where things are coming in differently, and now you need to find out ways to correct them. And the easiest way to correct them is to highlight the actual part, and then come over here and click whatever relation. This is like your actual relationship stuff right here. So it's how it's being related to other parts, and I can just expand this up if I want to, and I can come over here and I can flip the different things. Flip it like this. This is a technique I use constantly. The other technique is just deleting relationships and then pulling them in again. And if you need to, you can just delete the part entirely and then try again, when it's the green or whatever. So yeah, so let's go ahead and pull in another part here. Oh, I don't have my bushing here. That's okay. So this is pretty much it. But let's go ahead and see if we want to, what if we wanted to offset this part, for instance? Okay, this is something you're gonna actually need to do. If you click on the actual part right here, just highlight over it, click it, and you see the different relationships. So if you highlight it, you can actually see where it's being related to. So you can see this one right here is being related to the actual, the top of that, of the base plate, and then this one right here is that little ledge. So say if I want to set this thing, a little bit further away, so I can come down and set an offset if I want, some sort of an offset value. So I can go ahead and click 2 millimeters, and then it should offset it. But oh no, I have it related to this other thing right here. I'll spin it around. It's being related to the little red right here shows, conflicts or whatever. So what I'll go ahead and do is I'll just delete these relationships for right now. Delete. So now it's not locked into, it's not glued to the, between here and here, and it's also not glued, actually right here, in that little cylinder right here. So now what I can do is I'll just reassociate those two planes. Sorry. Go ahead and reassociate the two planes. And then of course we want to flip that, so right here, flip it. Great. And then let's go ahead and specify some sort of offset. Let's go 2. Okay. So now you can see here from the left side, or I'm sorry, the right side, that we can offset it as much as we want. So this is something you're going to need to use when you set the wheel on top of the actual shaft. You'll need to offset that from, I believe, like the bushing or some element. So again, you can see how this offset's changing. So let's go ahead and put it back to 0. And then now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to, if you make a mistake like I did, right? These holes don't line up. So what you can do really quickly, and this is a little bit advanced, um, but it's not difficult, is you go ahead, I'm going to move out here, is you go ahead and select this part. What we can do is we can come over here and we can edit it if we want. So let's go ahead and come over here down to edit. And so now we can go ahead and just simply edit this part and see what's going on. Just just this thing's moving. Come over here so I can key off of everything, and the double check that this thing is in fact okay. Alright, cool. It appears to be fixed. So they appear like they weren't out of line. So I'm not sure what the deal is, but let's go ahead and hover over top of this, just make sure that these are aligned with each other. Okay. So we'll go ahead and save this. And it'll go ahead and it'll update that assembly right now so we can see what the issue is. See whether or not that fixed it. Okay, cool. So it was updating, but for some reason it's still not fixed. Save it. Oops. Don't want that. Alright, so I'm pretty confident that these are in line right here with each other. So it must be these holes. So let's come over here and we'll edit this. I must have made a mistake on this side. So this kind of takes some remembering. They usually will keep the actual drawing. So it looks like this hole right here on the right side is up a little bit too far. So I'll go ahead and edit that right now. Going back, top side, and I'm just going to select the actual feature. Okay, so what happened there was I did not put the steering wheel in it was referencing some arbitrary point. Okay, that should have done it right there. Let's go ahead and see what happened. Back up, open to. Okay, and that went ahead and fixed it. So we now can see that just by going through and seeing, where the problem is, I was able to fix that misaligned hole that we saw before. Oh, and then this thing, of course, is incorrect as well. So the easier way to do this is just because I know that this one's completely wrong. I'm gonna figure out where this is. 22, this thing. They're all associated together. You see how I just can see that they're all about the same. So that's okay. We'll go ahead and just fix it right now. So what I'm doing is quickly using these grid lines to snap on and see where my center is. So we want width to be 16 by 32 by 0. Okay, now we'll go ahead and extrude what we need to extrude. So sorry, the first order of business is to close this up. And then we'll go ahead and do rounds here. Alright, so that's not exactly right, is it? So there's supposed to be 5 between the two of them. Ah, Jesus. Oh no, shoot, I'm sorry. 16. Okay. That is one way to do that. And just for I'm just making sure that everything is aligned here. Perfect. Okay, looks to be about good. Go ahead and save this. Open up my assembly. And as you can see, it went ahead and updated all that stuff for us. So we are good to go. All right, thank you very much.